Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and I am also a doctoral student of psychology. Today, we are going to go over a topic about what you can say that actually triggers an avoidant to be more aware of their feelings for you, being aware that they love you, basically to deeply connect with an avoidant so that they start recognizing that love is safe. This works for both fearful and dismissive avoidance, but more particularly if the fearful is leaning dismissive, okay? This is also for both genders. Now, the very first one is mentioning your perspective of them. It is, by the way, I wanted to let you know that you are a good man/woman. Now, why does saying that they are a good man or woman, why does that open them up to make them love you or recognize they love you? The reason is because of their core wound. This is much more particular with dismissive avoidance. It makes them feel that they, in fact, are good at relationships, that they do not need to run away from relationships based on the fact that they feel subconsciously they cannot succeed in the relationship. And so by you mentioning to them that they are in fact a good man or woman, it's implying you're good at relationships, especially if you are their partner, of course. It's implication of a good relationship, that they have the tools, what it takes to commit, get married, and make you happy. And this is very important because it allows them to not only accept their feelings, but also be encouraged to continue to do good things for the sake of feeling good about themselves as a person who can, in fact, have a successful relationship. The next one is a recollection of something that you guys did together, something that they did that you appreciated. So here's the example. I remember our first holiday together, and I love the gift that you got me. I still think about that day. It meant a lot to me. This reinforces them that they actually feel that they did do well, that they are a good partner, that they are able to make you happy, but it also reinforces that they are acknowledged, that what they do is valuable. It makes them feel like the little things that they do put effort in, you're going to remember it. Because you're not just saying, I remember what you did yesterday. You're recollecting from, who knows, maybe even years ago. And you're saying that you remember it and you love it. You still think about it. You still remember. And so it encourages them to show up romantically in the relationship and put more effort to make you say that to them again, right? So that you can be happy. And that's what really helps them to be triggered in a positive way to recognize that they feel greatly for you, okay? The next one, this one is typically after they say something that may have been difficult for them to say or something that perhaps they feel they would have met with a lot of resistance on your end, or you may have felt a type of way, perhaps a negative response, and they still told you anyways. It's basically them being honest. So let's go ahead and talk about what you can say to trigger them to basically open up and recognize they're falling in love with you. Anything simple, but here's the template. I appreciate you being honest. It means a lot to me. That is really all you have to say. Just mentioning I appreciate you being honest, first of all, it'll allow them to be more honest. Second, it will allow them to recognize that they can be honest and you are still able to be calm. And of course, when you say it means a lot to me, you are saying that us being close and being honest with one another is far more valuable to me than the triggered response I may have or you may have. I'd rather us build a foundation together. That is why this is very important. It's very powerful for individuals that really want to connect and really want to build love together, okay? The next one is in context of you reframing and intervening with their negative perspective about them not being a good partner. So they might say something like, I'm not a good shoulder to cry on, or I'm not good at relationships. You might say something and you want to say it logically so that it really appeals to their perspective. You may say something like, I disagree. You make me feel special, and from my perspective, I think you are a great boyfriend or girlfriend / right? You make me feel special, right? That's what you said. I disagree. You make me feel special, and I think you are a great boyfriend / girlfriend. Why is this so powerful? First of all, saying I disagree makes it seem authentic because I hope that it is, but it also creates a logical yet comforting perspective. Avoidant individuals, if you say that's not true, I love you, you're so great, while that is also wonderful, it does not translate the way they communicate. And so it may feel overwhelming, and they actually might shut down a little bit or not respond in a way where it's reciprocal or triggering their understanding of love. Now, if you say, I disagree, you are coming from a logical place. You are saying, I do disagree. Like, I get that you're saying that, but I think from my perspective, you might be wrong. You make me feel very special. So from my perspective, you are a great boyfriend. You're a great girlfriend. And that'll help them recognize that maybe they're a little too negative about this relationship aspect. Maybe they can lean in. Maybe they can fall in love. Maybe they can give you what you're looking for and they can get something in return as well. Because when you're saying a lot of these things, you're making them feel and reinforcing that relationships are not a one-way direction. Avoidant individuals, even more particular for dismissive avoidance, but fearful as well, they feel like they're going to be the one who's always going to have to adjust because they subconsciously know that they're missing, or not missing, but they're struggling with some of the tools that's needed in more typical secure relationships. But when you say you have those tools, or I appreciate you, or you know how to do this, a lot of their fears go away and you reinforce that they can also get their needs met. They're not just constantly trying to meet your needs. They're getting their needs met too, which makes, from a psychological perspective, not even attachment, it makes them feel more in tune with this aspect, the fact of the relationship, right? There's some research, I can't remember, but there's in general in psychology, we always perceive it as somebody who puts a little bit of effort in something or any sort of adjustment towards something, they become more attached to it, right? You can even see this phenomenon with people who are attached to celebrities, for example. If celebrities are more communicative towards their fans, the fans become even more engaged typically. It sounds like a very silly example, but it's because the fans are also receiving something as well. It's not just a one-sided connection. I know it sounds very random, but it's similar with relationships. You're able to actually personalize the relationship when you feel like there's a communication and engagement. For example, if there's an anxious attachment and an avoidant attachment, if the anxious individual is always the one who is making expressions and having expectations and not meeting the avoidant, because obviously a lot of avoidants don't say it. So I'm not saying it's the anxious partner's fault. But what ends up happening is the relationship is where the anxious person is kind of reaching out always and the avoidant is on a pedestal. And so the relationship is not very connected. And vice versa, when we're seeing celebrities, when they're connecting with their fans and the fans reciprocate, the celebrity becomes more comfortable and more satisfied with their jobs instead of having, let's say, an emotional breakdown or feeling like their fans don't care about them. And so I know that connection is not romantic. It's a different power dynamic. But what I am mentioning, it's because once you invest in something even a little bit, it creates more value. So if you as a partner recognize their investment, they already feel like they're receiving something. They will continue to invest, reinvest, and you will also do the same thing. Suddenly, the attachment that you both have are becoming more and more stronger and sturdier because they feel like they can get something out of this too, and you are also doing the same thing. That's why a lot of these really work well, okay? The next one is, I can see why you feel that way. This is if they're opening up to you about something. They're telling you something that bothers them. They might tell you they don't like something that you do, or it could be even a opinion about something that has nothing to do with the relationship. And you're mentioning, I can see why you feel that way. You are validating them. They are now attached to you. They're attached to the relationship. They're getting something out of it. You're getting something out of it, okay? It's a two-way street. There's a connection. There's a desire to continue to be together because you guys make each other feel a better version of yourselves when you are independent of one another. So interdependence creates a benefit for both sides. And the last one is, I can appreciate your perspective. Very similar to I can see why you feel that way, but this is more acknowledging their knowledge of something. I can appreciate why you feel that way as a feeling. Saying I can appreciate your perspective means I think there's some validity to your perspective. If your partner says, hey, I think that we should buy a house that's further from the city because it's cheaper, but you're saying, I want to buy a house closer to the city so that we have less of a commute when we're going to work. Both sides are valid, but when you say, I appreciate your perspective, I can see what you're saying. It might help us in the long run, and we can also raise our kids away from the city, which I know we both want at one point. So you're able to open up your partner and let them know that this relationship is safe, okay? So those are the 6 ways to trigger an avoidant to fall for you and open up to you, okay? I hope this video makes some sense. I hope it was helpful. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.